Y los dejo ahora con Paolo Sammicheli.
Thank you. So, I'm coming from the pretty city of Siena, that is located in South Tuscany, Italy. It's just 12 hours flight time from here. Easy. I wrote few books. The first set of books, are called Scrum for Hardware. By hardware, I mean a physical, tangible product that might be composed of software, because software is everywhere today, but contains also some electronics so that the software can run. There might be mechanical parts, atoms, put together to serve a specific purpose. There might be plastics or composite material, steel atoms, but to serve a function of protection or aesthetics, so something different than just mechanical parts. There might be an engine and wheels and move like a car. Or there might be wings and fly like an airplane. So how can you ideate, design, build, and then produce a product like that with Scrum? That's what my books is about. And this is not what I'm about to talk about. The other book is Scrum in AI, Artificial Intelligence. You can actually get it for free. I will show you the code again at the end of the presentation. And here, it's my journey of helping teams building an AI. And then when you are building an AI, what happens? That you also use AI. So proudly, this book came out 1 month before ChatGPT. So you cannot say I used ChatGPT to write it. And kindly, Jeff Sutherland, the inventor of Scrum, that will speak after me, wrote the foreword. So what is really artificial intelligence? One of the places where I learned about artificial intelligence is the MIT. And my professor at the MIT, Thomas Malone, he defined artificial intelligence like a machine acting in ways that seem intelligent. Why I like this definition? Well, I like it for the word seem. Artificial intelligence seems intelligent. So, in the foreword of my AI book, Jeff Sutherland is talking about Mike Biddle, that sadly passed away a few years ago. And Mike was the second person to adopt Scrum in his company. And when Mike learned about Scrum on the internet forum, he said, I get it. It's all based on AI. So what Mike was talking about? Because that time was 1995. So how can you train an AI to do some stuff? You have a neural network, basically is in some way resembling our brain, and you provide some examples. The machine tries to guess what is this example about, and they say, oh, I guess it's a dog. Then we have something on the data called annotation. This is called supervised learning. We say the machine, well, no, it's a cat. And so the machine will say, okay, let's learn from that. And we have a process called backpropagation. That is a very complex word to just say, well, you will change their own beliefs. If somebody is an expert, the weights. so that the next time when you show a cat, the neural network can predict that, yes, it's a cat. So that's how supervised learning works and how you train an AI in do some stuff, like recognizing objects on pictures. Let's talk about Scrum now. Maybe. Okay. We have things like called the user stories, and we say a team, okay, we want a picture of a cat so that I can use it in my presentation. And the team produces something. What we have, something called sprint review, where we have stakeholders providing a feedback. And then say, well, maybe a kitten would be better. Okay, let's learn from it. And we have a process, actually an event, called the retrospective, so that the team can change their own behavior and don't make the same mistake. Well, in this case, maybe better acceptance criteria would help. So, what I'm about to talk about today, I will show you some of the typical AI usage in Scrum teams, some dangers and problems on using AI in your daily work, and then I will leave you with a practical application with an open source solution so that you can implement it in your company or personal life tonight. So, how Scrum team can leverage AI to improve their way of working? This is another professor from the Duke University. So AI today is like a teenage sex. Everybody is claiming they're doing it, and the people think that the other are doing it, and so that's what everybody is talking about. Why there is such an hype about AI? Because the more prudential paper I found around says that if you implement technology like a large language model in your workforce, you get instantly 50% productivity more the same day. Projection shows that at least 100% you get in productivity just after 1 hour of prompt engineering training. Something that I will do tomorrow in a Scrum Master class, and in a value stream class I will do a guest appearance and teach some prompt engineering for white collars. We can use natural language to instruct the model to perform very complex tasks. Actually, you can also use Spanish because it's the second more used language in the training data after English. And so anybody can use it. You can prototype new services in minutes, and you can even implement it in applications in a few hours. That's a pace we've never seen before. Such a largely used technology that we had never seen before. So, in a Scrum team, what can you do with a large language model? Well, the typical usage is brainstorming with the model to try to come up with more ideas, and of course, produce content, any kind of content. So you can ask the model to help you to write a LinkedIn post, or a new advertisement for your product, or that document compliance is asking us, and so on. And also, you can chat with documents. This is very useful. Having a very long document maybe hand over to you by your clients, and instead of reading everything, you start chatting with the document and say, okay, what are the main points? And you can get like bullet points. Can I do this with the product that you're asking me to deliver to you? And the model answer. and of course, any text transformation. What about the product ownership? Well, you can elaborate and refine all the documents and artifacts that are considered the business strategy. So the vision, the slogan, and you can get help to refine your product backlog, having a better writing with less misunderstandings. And what else? Try again? Okay. Developers can use it as a co-pilot in coding. They can get code review, quality review, automated tests. Or you can write the test and get the machine to write the code. That might be more TDD with AI. You can do some security assessment, simulation, and so on. And finally, the Scrum Master. In class, we used some fake simulation so that the Scrum Master can practice the coaching skill with the model. So the model impersonates some people with some challenges and can be a sparring partner, like in Box, to upskill your coaching skills. You can ask suggestions. You can generate insights starting from some data. And of course, anything related to reporting will be easier with AI. So there are two main approaches that you can see with the AI integration in your daily work. One is the Centaur approach and the Cyborg. The Centaur approach, you have this task delegation to AI, but there is a clear distinction between what the human do and what the AI do. The more modern approach is the so-called Cyborg. So the final product happens with a continuous interaction between the human and the machine, that you can't actually tell what came from the person and what came from the machine. And this is just how you treat the AI. You don't need to actually change anything in your software. So what are the risks? Because so far everything looks so interesting and so promising, right? Before talking about the limits of the machine, we need to consider our own limits. So we talk about cognitive biases. These are the shortcuts that our brain takes. It's been developed during our evolution, and we shouldn't consider that like a bug or a malfunction. It's what allowed us to survive, having some shortcuts. The problem is that sometimes these biases creates shortcuts so that you make decisions not based on data, but based on some presumptions. So the confirmation bias is the human tendency to consider more the information that confirm your initial beliefs rather than the information that are against your initial beliefs. While testing AI, be very careful about this bias. Because I've seen very smart, intelligent people thinking and telling others, okay, I tried it, it works. And then, in production, it didn't. This is the kind of shortcut you might end. Especially when you have business people trying something with models like ChatGPT and then say, oh, I tried twice, it works. Now, get it in production now. It must be the same process we do for traditional software of quality assurance. And the other big risk I've seen, the big mistake, is treating the model like an oracle. So asking question, expecting the model to give you the answer, and you base your decision on that answer. So treating the model like fortune tellers could be really dangerous, because what the machine is doing is producing text based on probabilities. That's it. It's just a fill-in-the-blank game. You provide a sentence, and the machine, based on probabilistic or stochastic, if you want to use a more knowledgeable word and impress your friends, and complete the sentence. That's it. It's so simple. So there is a lot of opportunity, but do not think that it is intelligent. Actually, it seems intelligent. So what you should do? You should use it as a co-pilot. And really, this is I think, the more philosophical part of this presentation. What is the human then role in this strict and strong collaboration? The idea is that you are the captain. You are deciding where to go. You make the decision. The AI is helping you to go where you want to go faster and in an easier way. But it's your call, because if you let the model to make decision for you, the model will not refuse this role. The model will make the decisions. And so this is another of the Agile Manifesto author, Kent Beck, and he says, at the beginning, I was reluctant to try ChatGPT, and then I discovered why. 90% of my skills just dropped to 0 in value. And the remaining 10% went up 1,000 times. So this is, especially for if you have kids, this is the challenge we have. We have to rethink what is the value of a professional. It's not knowledge only. It's not just knowledge. It's that part that cannot be replaced by the machine. And so in the beginning, the first usage of AI, very rudimental, was to gathering data, and the humans were doing everything else. Then we started to climbing up this pyramid. So the machine started to understanding the data and correlating with the context was a human role. And then we got better models and better models. And today, the model can come up with an intelligent guess. The question is, should you leave the model to make the decision by themselves? This is another professor from MIT that I had the privilege to learn from. What would never be replaced by machine learning and artificial intelligence? That a human being just needs one data point to change entirely their ideas, to change opinion. A machine, to change an opinion, needs the same amount of data that used to form that opinion. So, if we are talking about steering the strategy of the company, you might just want to change your opinion and make decision very, very fast. So that's really the role on the future of the symbiosis between natural intelligence and artificial intelligence. So, let's see how you can start using this technology from tonight. There is it's becoming quite popular, an approach to customize the large language models called RAG, Retrieval Augmented Generation. Practically, it's feeding the model with more data that might come from files, documents, or even functions. So you query your IT system on the fly, and then combining this information with what the user is asking for, we provide a better context, a better understanding of the reality to the model so that you get a better answer. This is it's way cheaper than retrain the model every time with new data. It also allows to start from a general purpose model like ChatGPT and make it your own application that knows more about you or your company and your context. So to do that, you can use a open source framework. Open source means that it's free to use, free to copy, free to modify, and free to reshare in modified version. So the real open source. This actually is an Italian project that later became international. I'm part of this community. I'm one of the community facilitators of the community. And it's called the Cheshire Cat. So what it's doing basically is like the WordPress of AI. If you are familiar with web design, what is WordPress? Well, it's an engine that you very easily install on a server. Then you provide some content, and voila, you get your website. And this is the same. The idea is to remove the barriers and make AI accessible to all. And with open source, I wouldn't say emerging countries, but any countries outside the US and China can actually have a role in building something original and play this revolution as a relevant player. So, first of all, this solution is model agnostic. Means that you don't want to lock in with one single vendor today because the technology is very new and is changing almost every week. So you want to build something, decoupling yourself from the AI vendors. Especially because today the normal use of large language models is by using the APIs of these big companies like Microsoft, Meta, and Amazon, and so on. But what we are seeing very rapidly, the increasing availability of models that you can run locally and a decrease of price of the hardware capable of running these models. So probably in a couple of years, big organizations would be able to run their own model in-house without letting your data to leave your company and, most importantly, leave the country, so with all the complications of regulation for data protection. So the idea is I build this solution and I change the AI model with the same easiness than a kid change the batteries on a toy. This project, this AI solution, can have three kinds of memories. The episodic memories is the solution remembers all the past conversations. So if you start talking with a model and solving your problem, let's say you use it in a Scrum team, you start talking about your product, everything you say, also the priorities of today that you might exchange with the model will be remembered if you want. So the more you use it, the more the model will know about you. You can have declarative memories. You can upload documents so that you get instant more knowledge and a more customization, understanding of the context. And also you can integrate with functions so that, for example, if a Scrum team have all the data of tasking on Jira, you can connect the web service and get on the fly the list of the remaining undeveloped backlog items. That might be an example. Or if you want to create something like a chatbot, you can query your database on the fly. So the idea is to have all these tools available to integrate your own system with a software layer that can run in your systems. Then if you want the cloud, that's fine, but you will be in control of the solution. And then, just like a WordPress, there is a marketplace of plugins. The large majority of these plugins are for free, but we are also open to the idea that there might be a marketplace and an ecosystem of paying plugins so that there might be a plugin economy. With these plugins, you can extend the project adding additional functionality. There is a set of plugins already available, developed by some people in the community, something like art generation, image recognition, and so on. And then there is a large ecosystem of plugins that are community developed. And this is a rolling demo on how it looks like. It's a chat, like ChatGPT. And for example, here we asked what time is it? And there is the time and date function, so it answers. All the memories, all the documents are stored in these multi-dimensional memories. This is a very interesting concept. Basically, similar information are closer to each other. So if you talk about pizza, and then you say what we're going to have at dinner, pizza will be closer to that topic, the dinner, rather than software or Python. Okay, pizza and Python will be far away, and pizza and beer probably they will be closer. You can inspect the memory, you can see the memories, you can select the single memory and ask it to forget it, and then all the plugins that you can install, and also the configuration. So this is very interesting. Every sentence you get from the model, every answer can be inspected to understand why the model answered in that way. What was the information available? So this is also called the inspectability of the AI solution, and this is something that the commercial solution is not providing, and instead it is very important to not let the machine decide by themselves, but understanding why we get this answer. And I think we have seen pretty much everything. So the configuration, the inspectability, the files they used, and the configuration of different kind of models. So you can get this link, download it, and even start startups with this piece of software. And I hope that also in Guatemala there will be an emerging market of new startups that from open source we start building something valuable for our company and then benefiting the entire country. And so takeaways. Remember that artificial intelligence seems intelligent, and often you might get hallucination when the machine made up things. You can reduce this if you provide a context while asking stuff. Don't let AI to make decision for you. That's your role. So use it as a copilot, not as an oracle. And the technology is too young to just go all in with a single vendor. Try to decouple from the big brands using open source so that you are free to switch from a technology to another whenever you feel the need or the opportunity. And that's it. So this is the QR codes if you want to download my books. And now I think we have some time for questions. Thank you. And of course, there are some books on paper, if you want me to sign it, that are available here. So reach out to the Scrummers for that. Any question? Yes, there is a question right there. Oh, she can translate.
Hi, Paolo. Thanks for the presentation. Very good. Thank you. I have a question about AI, and is what about security? Security of the information that we ingest or that we ask to all these ChatGPT, etc.
Can you repeat again because we are not hearing well? Can you say again?
My question is, what about the security of the information we are ingesting in the ChatGPT, for example?
Yeah, so that's a very...
Thank you.
That's a very important question because if you use the free version of the ChatGPT and the other language model like Claude and so on, I heard that when a product is free, the product is you. Okay. Now, if you buy the usage of large language model through APIs, that contract says that they cannot use your data to improve the model. So the idea of using the paid version through an interface like the one I showed you is also to protect the data. But for big corporations, there are many people from banking here, the real interesting part will be having the models. There are many open source models very good already, like the one released by Meta. It's called the Llama 2. There is a big version of that today is a little bit of expensive, probably for a bank not so expensive, but a little bit expensive. But the cost of the hardware is dropping. So we can think that maybe in a couple of years, mid-sized companies can afford to run the model locally. And that will become very interesting. Also our phones, the new generation, probably Apple will release the new one in 1 month, will have some hardware capability to run the model locally. So yes, absolutely, the concern about the data protection is legit, it's reasonable. And so having more capable hardware or having local models is definitely a very interesting opportunity. Any other question? So I'm staying here around the next 3 days. So feel free to reach out and have a conversation about AI, Scrum, or whatever is your interest. Thank you.